For a discard load, typical bag, autoclave bag, with a general load of Petri dishes, gloves, pipettes, anything general lab waste, tissues, could be anything in there. These bags should be left open, ideally, for allow the air to get out and the steam to get in. Or they could be loosely gathered and tied with autoclave tape just to keep the load together. Up the outside, the autoclave tape up, but it's still not completely tight. I can still get dust and fingers in there, so the air can get out of this bag. And this bag should go into a Morrison container. So should the bag split, it will contain any spillages within that container and not onto the shelf or underneath the shelf, wrap itself around the elements. As you can see, the Morrison container has holes in it. This is to allow for steam penetration during the cycle so the steam can get into the bottom of the load. The difference with a discard load to a media load, it does not use the load probe. So we do not put the load probe in the bag with it because otherwise it will melt to the plastic and then it's very difficult to get out and you'll probably damage the probe in doing so. So the probe normally gets left tucked down the side of the Morrison container because the probe is also not turned on in the controller for this particular cycle. For a discard cycle, we had the same procedure. The door would shut, you just press the start button obviously. The machine would heat up, being self-generated, it would produce steam and then it would freeze steam at normally again 95 to 100 degrees for a period of time to allow the load to catch up with the chamber temperature. And obviously what we're trying to do under freeze steam is get rid of the air out of the load. The Petri dishes have air pockets, everything will have air. The art of sterilisation is to get that air out of the load. So the load will then warm up and sterilise. At the end of sterilisation, obviously the machine will cool down, but this time it will cool down quicker than the media load because obviously it's only looking at the temperature of the chamber rather than the temperature of the load probe because it's not being used. So it will cool down faster, the fans will kick in earlier to help bring the load down to a safe temperature where the machine will open. We do have the option of a vacuum machine with steam generator and a jacket. This would make the process of the sterilisation of a plastic discard load quicker because it would evacuate the air out of the load quicker with a pre-vacuum, negative and positive pulsing. It would then sterilise for your nominal period at 121, 15 minutes or above. And then it would pull a big vacuum at the end to suck all the air and the steam out of the chamber and make the whole process fast back.